Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly once again assembling here for session number 48 of Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam. I'm very thankful to our host, Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu Prabhu, who has so kindly hosted most of these talks and who has been a constant source of support and encouragement for me. Thank you so much, Prabhu, because without you, this entire series could not have been hosted so expertly. I'm very thankful to you for that, Prabhuji. And also, thanks to each and every one of you who kindly join in every Saturday from various parts of the world. I'm so happy to have an opportunity to render some service to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And these Gaudiya Vaishnavas, all of you are coming from different families. Some are from the Gaudiya Math, some are from ISKCON, and some are from various other groups. I'm very, very thankful that all of you have found common interest in Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here. We are continuing our journey into the 9th verse of Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam. And these are the final 3 verses, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And these verses will be revealing the supremacy of that one particular location, which is considered to be the choicest location for performing our Shri Krishna bhajan, and that is Shri Radhakund. Dear devotees, before we begin, let's ensure auspiciousness for the students as well as for myself, who is trying to facilitate this series of talks. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sahana Bhavatu. May Bhagavan protect both of us, the teacher as well as the student. Sahanau Bhunaktu. May Bhagavan bestow the highest fruit of this study upon both of us. Saha Viryam Karavavahi. May both of us attain the strength to realize the highest truth. Tejasvina Vadhitamastu. May our study shine forth brilliantly. Ma Vidvishavahai. May we never envy each other. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. May peace pervade the 3 worlds. Dear devotees, it's also important to offer glories to the author, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Shri Gaura Chitta Gambhiryam Veti Shri Rupa Evahi. Shri Rupa Chitta Gambhiryam Veti Shri Gaura Evahi. Only Shri Rupa Goswami knows the depths of the heart of Shri Gauranga. And only Shri Gauranga knows the depths of the heart of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Dear devotees, we are so fortunate to be sheltered under that personality, Srila Rupa Goswami, who gave the entire concept of Bhakti Ras to the world. He revealed what is Bhakti Ras to the entire world. Prior to him, there was no systematic study of Bhakti Ras done by any individual. It is only by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Sri Rupa Goswami got empowered to understand and explain the various bhakti ras in his magnum opus, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And we are directly connected to the lineage of Srila Rupa Goswami, which means we inherit all the treasure that he has left for us. We are the rightful inheritors of the treasure left behind by Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. And we should make all attempts to own this treasure, to inherit it, and to live up to it within our lives. Dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami is giving the 9th verse. And this verse is in the meter Shardula Vikriditam. Once again, I'll sing this verse. Vaikuntha janito varamadhupuri tatrapi rasotsava vrindaranyamudar pani ramana tatrapi govardhana Radha Kunda Mihapi Gokulapate Premamrita Plavana Puryadasya Virajato Giritate Sevam Vivekinaka. Here is the word for word. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, can you kindly read the word for word?
Yes, Prabhuji. Due to being the birthplace of Krishna, Mathura Mandala is superior to Vaikuntha. Even in Mathura Mandala, Vrindavan is superior due to the occurrence of the Rasa Lila festival. Superior even to Vrindavan is Govardhana Hill, due to being the pleasure pastime ground of the liberal-handed Krishna. Even in Govardhan, Radha Kunda is superior, due to being the bathing place filled with the nectarian Radha Prema that belongs to Sri Krishna. Which intelligent soul will not render service to this Radha Kunda, which resides on the foothills of the Govardhan Hill?
Wonderful. So, Prabhu, in the previous session, we discussed Vaikuntha, the first term. Vaikuntha. What is Vaikuntha? We saw in the previous session, and we saw the 9 most essential characteristics of Vaikuntha as revealed to us by Srila Jiva Goswami. And although he had revealed these 9 characteristics, each and every characteristic has a very deep implication. I tried to discuss some of the implications of each and every characteristic so that we can try to wrap our head around the entire concept of Vaikuntha Dham. And we tried to do that using the teachings of the previous acharyas. Sri Rupa Goswami is saying, Vaikuntha janitah vara madhupuri. Janitah, due to being the birthplace of whom? Of Krishna. Mathura Mandal is superior to Vaikuntha. Now we are going to arrive at the second stage of this verse, which is Mathura Mandal. But before we come to Mathura Mandal, there is some particular problem in this statement. Due to being the birthplace of Krishna, Mathura Mandal is superior to Vaikuntha. When I read this statement again and again, I realized that there is a fundamental issue with this statement. This comparison doesn't make sense. If you see all the comparisons, first is Vaikuntha, then Mathura, then Govardhan, then Radhakund. The comparison between Mathura, Govardhan, Radhakund seems to be justified. But the comparison with Vaikuntha doesn't seem to be justified at all. And there is a reason for that. What is the reason for that? Srila Rupa Goswami himself has revealed the reason in his Laghu Bhagavatamrtam. In the Laghu Bhagavatamrtam, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Yasya Valsah Puranadau Hyatah Sthana Chatushtaye Vraje Madhupure Dvara Bhatyam Goloka Evacha. Yasya Vasah Puranadau. In the Puranas, etc., it is clearly stated, Khyatah, that Krishna's residence, Vasah, is in Sthana Chatushtaya, is in 4 places. What are the 4 places? Vraje, in Vraja, Madhupure, in Mathura, Dwaravatyam, in Dwaraka, and Goloke, and in Goloka. Krishna's residence is only in these 4 places. And Sri Rupa Goswami is comparing Vaikuntha and Mathura. How can you compare Vaikuntha and Mathura when there are no pastimes of Sri Krishna in Vaikuntha? Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, in order to compare 2 entities, there should be some similarity and there should be some dissimilarity. But there is great dissimilarity between Vaikuntha and Mathura. Do any pastimes of Sri Krishna take place in Vaikuntha, Prabhu?
No, Prabhuji.
No. So what is the point of comparing a place where there is no pastime of Sri Krishna with a place which has pastimes of Sri Krishna? And then why make only birth as the criteria of superiority? Rupa Goswami could have said Mathura is greater than Vaikuntha because Krishna's pastimes are taking place here. That would seem to be valid. But instead, Sri Rupa Goswami is saying Mathura is superior to Vaikuntha because Krishna appeared in Mathura. So, well, what other pastimes did Krishna perform in Vaikuntha? No pastime. You can't compare these two. These two are extremely dissimilar entities, although they may be similar in the sense that they are both spiritual, Chitvastu. But they are dissimilar in this comparison. So, with this question in my mind, I struggled for some time until, fortunately, the answer to the query was revealed. The question once again, dear devotees, is since there are no pastimes of Krishna Lila taking place in Vaikuntha, why did Srila Rupa Goswami compare it to Mathura? And fortunately, the answer is that because Vaikuntha, there is a place which has pastimes of Krishna going on. Now, question may be asked, which place in Vaikuntha has pastimes of Sri Krishna going on? The answer is given by Srila Sanatana Goswami in his commentary to Brhad Bhagavatamrtam. So I am quoting the direct words of Srila Sanatana Goswami. Srila Sanatana Goswami says in one place in Brhad Bhagavatamrtam, Vaikunthasya eva gudha pradesha rupayam tasyam ayodhyayam asyam dwarakayam va. Ayodhya or Dwarka are situated as special confidential abodes within the domain of Vaikuntha. So basically, Ayodhya and Dwarka are the crest jewels of Vaikuntha Loka. In that sense, Dwarka is included within the Vaikuntha Lokas. In many places in Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Sri Sanatana Goswami says Vaikuntha Dwarka, Vaikuntha Dwarka. Many places he says, which means that the Dwarka in the spiritual world is a special version of Vaikuntha. It is Vaikuntha, but there are many specialties here in Dwarka. Now it starts making sense. Vaikuntha Janito Vara Madhupuri. Superior to Vaikuntha is Mathura. But when Sri Rupa Goswami is saying Vaikuntha, what he intends to say specifically is Dwarka. Superior to Dwarka is Mathura. This makes sense. So, Vaikuntha in general means Vaikuntha. I agree. But in a special sense, Rupa Goswami intends to say Dwarka. Because in this entire comparison, Dwarka seems to be left out. But it is not left out because Dwarka is within the Vaikuntha locus. So, superior to Dwarka is Mathura. Superior to Mathura is Vrindavan. Superior to Vrindavan is Govardhan. And within Govardhan, Radha Kund is supreme. Now this comparison makes sense. Because within Dwarka, there are many pastimes of Sri Krishna. But one pastime is not there. That is the pastime of Sri Krishna taking birth. That pastime occurred in Mathura. Now the comparison can take place. Because both Mathura and Dwarka have similarity. That they have pastimes of Sri Krishna going on. Now, somebody may say that Hariparshad Das, you said that Rupa Goswami is saying Vaikuntha means in comparison to Dwarka. Is this your speculation or is it also supported by some previous Acharya? Because if it is supported by a previous Acharya, then we will be certain that Rupa Goswami's intention in comparing Vaikuntha to Mathura was actually to compare Dwarka to Mathura. So yes, there is a definite confirmation of this. Where is that confirmation? That confirmation is by none other than Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami. Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami wrote his Stavavali, his collection of stavas or glorifications. And there is a stava known as Vraja Vilasa Stava. In the Vraja Vilasa Stava, we see an almost similar verse to the verse which we are currently discussing. This is the verse by Sri Raghunatha Das Goswami in the Vraja Vilasa Stava. Vaikunthaadapi sodaratmaja vritam Dvaravati sapriya Yatra Shri Shatanindi Patta Mahishi Vrindai Prabhu Khelati Prema Kshetra Masau Tatopi Mathura Shrestha Harer Janmato Yatra Shri Vraja Eva Rajati Taram Tameva Nityam Bhaje. Now, just as we look at the Sanskrit terms, it will become clear. Vaikunthaadapi Sodarad Majavrita Dvaravati Sapriya. Much dearer and greater than Vaikuntha is that Dwarka. But Dwarka is essentially a part of Vaikuntha, as Sri Sanatana Goswami has said. But yes, even within Vaikuntha, that Dwarka is greater and dearer to Krishna. Why? Sodara, where the brother Balram and Atmaja, the sons of Krishna, who are the sons of Krishna, Pradyumna, Samba, etc., they stay in Dwarka. And Yatra, in that Dwarka, Shri Shata Nindi Patta Mahishi, Vrindai Prabhu Khelati, where Krishna is surrounded by hosts of queens, Rukmini, Jambavati, Satyabhama, etc., who defeat the beauty of hundreds of Lakshmis. Then, Prema Kshetra Masau Tatopi Mathura Shrestha Harer Janmato. However, even greater than Dwarka is Mathura Mandal. This is where Sri Raghunatha Das Goswami specifies what the actual objects of comparison are. So, Dwarka is greater than Mathura. Why? Harer Janmato, since Hari appeared here. And also, because Mathura Mandal has Shri Vraja Eva. Shri Vraja, Prema Kshetram, the abode of Prema resides here. Rajati Taram, in a most excellent manner. Tam eva nityam bhaje, tam mathuram. That Mathura I eternally worship. So dear devotees, here Sri Raghunatha Das Goswami confirms that actually we cannot compare Vaikuntha to Mathura. Within Vaikuntha, we'll have to compare Dwarka to Mathura, dear devotees. Because Dwarka is a special extension of Vaikuntha. It is a special variety of Vaikuntha. And what is so special about Dwarka? We have to understand, dear devotees. When we understand Dwarka, we will also be able to understand a little bit about the glories of Sri Mathura. Today, let us dive into Dwarka and Mathura. Let us try to understand what is so special about Dwarka and what is so special about Mathura. Dear devotees, in the previous talk, we went on a journey with Gopa Kumar, the cowherd boy who entered into Vaikuntha. And when he entered into Vaikuntha, what he saw there could not be described in words. I tried to speak some of it in my previous talk as to what Vaikuntha is and how Vaikuntha looks. But Gopa Kumar's heart was not satisfied in Vaikuntha. He could not relish the relationship that he was longing for. The reason was that Gopa Kumar was himself in the form of a human, and the residents of Vaikuntha were in the form of divine personalities. Therefore, there was no similarity between Gopa Kumar and the residents of Vaikuntha. Gopa Kumar hankered not for divine pastimes, but for human-like pastimes. These human-like pastimes were not possible in Vaikuntha. Therefore, Gopa Kumar was advised to go to Ayodhya and see Bhagwan Ramchandra. And Gopa Kumar, by the power of his sadhana bhakti, he arrived in Ayodhya. In Ayodhya, he saw Shri Hanuman, Bhagwan Shri Ramachandra, all the associates of Bhagwan Ram. And he stayed there for some time, but his heart is not satisfied even in Ayodhya. Shri Hanuman tried many arguments, but none of the arguments worked with Gopa Kumar. Finally, Bhagwan Ram himself came to Gopa Kumar and said, Gopa Kumar, please proceed to Dwarka. But how will I go to Dwarka? Do not worry. I have an associate who shares a common boundary between Ayodhya and Dwarka. And who is that associate? Jambavat. He was present in Bhagwan Ram's pastimes, and he was also present in the Syamantak Mani pastime in Sri Krishna Lila in Dwarka. Jambavan shares a common link between Ayodhya and Dwarka. Therefore, Bhagavan Shri Ram sends Gopa Kumar along with Jambavan, and Jambavan takes Gopa Kumar to Dwarka. Dear devotees, when Gopa Kumar arrives in Dwarka, he sees a very special variety of Vaikuntha. It appears like Vaikuntha, but things are very special. For the first time, he starts seeing individuals who look like human beings, who have a spiritual body, who are divine, yet they look like human beings. They behave like human beings. And it's important to be a human being in order to experience the vast variety of rasas. Divine people like the Vaikuntha Vasis, who have so much memory, who have so much knowledge of Bhagwan's greatness, cannot possibly relish those rasas. In order to relish various rasas, it is important to have humane characteristics. It is important to forget some things from time to time. It is important to relate to Bhagavan as a human. And these pastimes begin in Dwarka. When Gopa Kumar entered Sri Dwarka, at that point of time, he went to the Sudharma assembly of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And when he entered that particular assembly, within that assembly, he saw the love of his life, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, but in a different attire. He was in a royal attire along with Rukmini Devi, sitting on a throne, and around him were his associates, Balaram, Maharaj Ugrasen, Akrura, Kritavarma, many other Yadava leaders of Sri Dwarka were present there in the Sudharma assembly. As soon as Gopa Kumar saw Sri Krishna, Gopa Kumar immediately, with profuse tears in his eyes, fainted and fell on the ground. At that point of time, Uddhava took Gopa Kumar and put Gopa Kumar's head at the feet of the Lord of Dwarka. This was Gopa Kumar's first vision of his beloved Lord Sri Krishna. Dear devotees, this is the form that he had hankered for. He wanted to ultimately be in association with that Lord who is taking the role of a human. Well, Bhagwan Ramchandra also is taking the role of a human. But no, that Lord, Sri Krishna, who performs pastimes as a human being. The first thing Sri Krishna noticed was the flute in Gopa Kumar's hands, because Gopa Kumar was a cowherd. Krishna noticed the flute in Gopa Kumar's hands. At that point of time, Sri Krishna could not control himself. And Sri Krishna started crying in front of the entire Sudharma assembly. Uddhav had to take great efforts to tell Sri Krishna, please do not cry. Uddhav used his eyebrows to show Sri Krishna who all are present here. Using his eyebrows, Uddhav gave an indication. Here is Maharaj Ugrasen. Here is Balaram. Here are all the Yadavas. Using only his eyebrows, Uddhava gave an indication to Sri Krishna to stop. Bhagavan is crying in Dwarka. Question arises, this is not the Dwarka of the material world. This is the Dwarka which is the crest jewel of all Vaikunthas. Why is Bhagavan crying in separation here? Sri Sanatana Goswami says that sometimes Bhagavan in that Vaikuntha Dwarka also wishes to relish the rasa of the Dwarka which is present here on earth. So sometimes that avesh, that overwhelming feeling of Bhauma Dwarka or the Dwarka on earth takes over Sri Krishna even in Vaikuntha Dwarka. So simply in order to relish those rasas of separation, Bhagavan was overcome. With tears, His voice was choking. Somehow Uddhava consoled Shri Bhagwan. Dear devotees, we are now beginning to enter into these pastimes of Bhagavan as a human being. These pastimes are very, very sweet. What does Bhagavan think when he sees objects like the flute? These objects technically act as uddipan, stimulants, to remind Sri Krishna of his beloved Sri Vrindavan. Sri Rupa Goswami in the Padyavali gives a small sample of what goes through Krishna's mind in Dwarka. This is a verse from Padyavali where Sri Krishna is remembering his time in Sri Vrindavan. Ambulam swamukhartha charvitamita ko me mukhe nikshipe unmarga prasritam cha chartu vachanai ko mam vashe sthapaye ehye vidura sarita bhuja svanke nidhayadhuna केलिस्रस्त शिखंडकं मम पुनर्व्याधूय बध्नातु कर. Shri Krishna sees that flute and immediately remembers Shri Vraja. How he also, as a young child, used to roam in Shri Vraja. And he remembers Mother Yashoda. Tambulam swamukhartha charvitam. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, do you know what is the meaning of tambula?
I guess it's like a type of gum.
No. It's betel nut leaf.
I don't know.
Prabhu, is tambul available in Dwarka?
I don't know, Prabhuji. Yeah. No?
Yes, it is available.
It's available? Okay.
Yeah. But a special type of tambul is not available. Swamukhartha charvitam. That tambula which my mother has half chewed. Can that tambula, half chewed tambula of Mother Yashoda, ko me mukhe nikshipet. Today, who will put that half chewed tambula in my mouth? Tambula is very tasty, but tastier than tambula is the half chewed tambula of Mother Yashoda. Can Sri Krishna have this pleasure in Dwarka? Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu.
No, Prabhuji.
It's not possible. Unmarga prasritam. And sometimes if I walk on unmarga, on a deviated path in life, if I do something which is incorrect, Chatu vachanai, who will give me sweet words? Ko mam vashe sthapayet, and giving me sweet words of advice, who will bring me back on the correct path of life. Previously, Mother Yashoda had the authority to tell me, Krishna, you should never steal. Krishna, you should never eat dirt. Today, whatever I do becomes the standard. Today, I run away from a yavan. People start worshipping me. Bhagwan ran away from Kal Yavan. This is the same Bhagwan who in Bhagavad Gita says, Yuddhe chapya palayanam, a Kshatriya should never show his back during a fight. And he himself, being the Acharya of Bhagavad Gita, should have followed his own teachings. But he went against that and ran away from Kala Yavan. And what did people do? People made a temple out of it. And they called him Ranchor Rai. That they glorify him as the person who ran away from battle. Today there is nobody to discipline me. Ehye hiti vidura sarita bhuja svanke nidhayadhuna. Keli srasta shikhandakam mama punar vyathuya badnatu. And when I am tired in the evening, who will welcome me? Ehi, come here, come here, Come here, Krishna. With open arms, who will welcome me? Swanke, who will make me sit on her lap? And Keli Srasta Shikhandakam, and my peacock feather that has fallen out of place due to playing too much, who will open it up and retie it? Today, the peacock feathers are embellished in my crown. There is no question of them falling out. Where will I get all this love in Dwarka today? Krishna felt extremely lost out. He thought that by leaving Dwarka, the Vrajavasis will cry. But more than Vrajavasis, it is Sri Krishna who started crying in Dwarka. Although all these are feelings of Bhauma Dwarka, the Dwarka on earth, but Sri Krishna sometimes wishes to relish these feelings even in Vaikuntha Dwarka. Therefore, this mood overcame Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna started crying, dear devotees. For the first time, Bhagwan's weakness comes to surface. Don't expect the Lord of Vaikuntha to cry, dear devotees. He doesn't even blink his eyes, the Lord of Vaikuntha. He doesn't even blink his eyes. One of his names is Animesha. Naimishe Animisha Kshetre, says the Bhagavatam. Animisha, whose eyes never blink. Vaikuntanath, Bhagavan Narayan, he opens his eyes, and when he wants to take yoga nidra, divine sleep, he partially closes his eyes. That's all. You will never see him blinking his eyes. Forget about crying. You will never see Narayan crying. Forget about seeing him as a human being and experiencing the feelings of a human. It is simply not possible with Vaikuntanath. It is only possible with Bhagavan in his humane pastimes. And these humane pastimes begin with Ayodhya and Dwarka. Therefore, Sri Sanatana Goswami had said that Ayodhya and Dwarka are special enclosures within Sri Vaikuntha. But there is something different about them because Bhagavan is exhibiting his humane pastimes, Nara Lila, within Ayodhya and Dwarka. And when Bhagavan started crying, this is when the sweetness of the pastime starts coming out. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, Prabhu, I wish to ask you a very important query.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You are given two choices. The first choice is that you will fall in love with a God who is all perfect, who never makes any mistakes at any point of time, each and every word of whom is absolute truth and who never speaks any lies. And the second choice is that you will fall in love with an imperfect God who is having all the mistakes of a human being, who cries at some times, who speaks lies, and who does not live up to his word from time to time. In pursuit of perfection, Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, Prabhu, finally, which Bhagavan do you want to fall in love with?
Number in pursuit of perfection.
Yeah, in pursuit of your perfection, Prabhu. We all are in the pursuit of perfection, ultimately. Which Bhagavan do you want?
Number 2.
But Prabhu, you wanted perfection? Or did you want divine imperfection? What did you want?
Imperfection with the background of perfection.
Wow. Look at that word jugglery. Imperfection with the divine background of perfection. Or let's put it in ISKCON terms, transcendental imperfection. You just add transcendent and then you can justify anything you want. So you want ultimately that your personality of Godhead should speak lies, isn't it?
Yes.
and that he should behave in a crooked manner, and that he should not live up to his promises. Are you prepared for an eternity with such a person, Prabhu?
Not yet, but I'm trying.
Why not take the safer option of that Lord who always speaks the truth, who never lies, each and every word of who is as perfect as the four Vedas? Why are you opting for the second?
Because there's more intrigue and variety and
Okay.
seduction in number 2.
Wow. So, this divine imperfection is sweeter than divine perfection. But this divine imperfection can only take place if Bhagwan appears as a human being. It cannot take place if Bhagwan appears in his four-handed divine form. So, Prabhu, you have to voluntarily make the choice of falling in love with a human being. Do you agree?
Yes.
Right? So, you've made the choice, just like Gopa Kumar did, that you want transcendental imperfection. Sri Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu lists 18 defects of human beings. Sri Jiva Goswami in the commentary shows how most of them are present even in Bhagwan Sri Krishna, but they only add to the joyous exchange of rasas. In a single word, it is called as madhurya or sweetness. And this madhurya is only possible when we have Bhagwan in the form of a human. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur confirms this principle in his Bhagavatamrtam. He says, Dwarka Mathura Vrindavana Khe Dhamatraye Sri Krishnasya Naralila-adhikya Taratamyat Kramena Madhurya-adhikya Taratamyam. In the three abodes, Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan, there is sequential increase in the experience of sweetness due to sequential increase in the humaneness of the pastimes. The more Bhagwan acts as a defective human, the sweeter his pastimes become. He is sweet in Dwaraka, because in Dwaraka too he is a human being. But still he has quite a lot of the mood of Vaikuntha Nath. In Mathura too, he is sweeter, but he is sweetest in Shri Vrindavan. We will gradually get to Shri Vrindavan. Gradually we will get to see all the crookedness that exists within our Bhagwan. But for the time being, we are in Shri Dwarka. Now, Prabhu, all this sweetness of the humane pastimes of Bhagavan, we wish to experience. But Prabhu, if all of these pastimes continue to occur in the spiritual world, and they do not occur ever in the material world, then what will individuals like me do? Please tell me.
Unless you had narrations about them, you wouldn't have any access.
But Prabhu, Bhagavan has to send his own devotees from his own abode in order to even facilitate the narrations. If Bhagavan does not open up any link between the spiritual world and the material world, will we have any access to the spiritual world?
No, you'll be stuck.
We'll be stuck. So we need a gateway which helps us access the spiritual world. But even if Bhagavan opens a gateway, it is impossible for me to enter into the spiritual world because I do not have the mood or the body to enter into the spiritual world. Therefore, even if there is a gateway between the spiritual world and the material world, it is Bhagwan who will have to come down. Unless Bhagwan comes down, there is no possibility for me, a person like myself, stuck in the material world, to ever have access to all these pastimes, Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan. So we need a gateway, a dwar. And the gateway can only occur if Shri Bhagavan takes birth as a human in the material world. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, Prabhu, which abode amongst all the abodes of Sri Krishna does Bhagavan take birth in?
Mathura and Vrindavan.
All right, you are a Gaudiya Vaishnava, I understand. But in a generic sense, which abode does Bhagavan
Mathura.
take? Wonderful. Vaikuntha Janito Vara Madhupuri. Now we understand that unless Mathura would have appeared on this planet, it would have been impossible for us to have access to these humane pastimes of Sri Krishna. Neither Vrindavan nor Dwarka would be possible from a historical point of view if Mathura Lila would not have occurred. First and foremost, Bhagavan has to take birth in Sri Mathura. Vaikuntha Janito Vara Madhupuri. See, even Sri Rupa Goswami agrees that in some way Bhagavan appeared in Mathura. In a special sense, yes, we will come to Bhagavan's appearance in Vrindavan. But in the general sense, Bhagavan appeared in this world in Sri Mathura. And it is Sri Mathura, she is a lady actually. It is she who is the gateway. She is the Janani. She is the mother of all the humane pastimes, Naralila, of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Vara Madhupuri. Therefore, all glories to Mathura Devi. Sri Rupa Goswami thus sings the glory of Sri Mathura as follows in his Padyavali. He Matar Mathure Tvameva Niyatam Dhanyasi Bhumi Tale Nirvyajam Natayah Shatam Savidhaya Stubhyam Sada Santura Hitva Hanta Nitanta Madbhuta Gunam Vaikuntha Mutkanthaya Tvayam Bhoja Vilochana Sa Bhagavan Yenaavatirno Hare. Hey Matar Mathure, O Mother Mathura. Mathura is whose mother? Mathura is the mother of Sri Krishna Lila. Hey Matar Mathure, O mother of all Sri Krishna Lila. Tvameva niyatam dhanyasi bhumi tale. You are the most fortunate on planet Earth. Nirvyajam natayah shatam savidhayastubhyam sada santuna. May hundreds of genuine reverential obeisances from our side be offered constantly unto you. Why? Amongst all the tirthas you are fortunate. Why? Because hitva hanta nitanta madbhuta gunam vaikuntham. Because the lotus-eyed Bhagwan Hari gave up that eternal abode of Vaikuntha, filled with wonderful good qualities, and eagerly accepted his appearance within you. Krishna was also eager. We are eager for Krishna to appear. But Krishna himself was eager to appear in Sri Mathura. Why is Sri Krishna also eager to appear in Sri Mathura? Krishna is eager because Krishna also wishes to relish two particular pastimes. First, the pastime of taking birth. Second, the pastime of killing many demons. And all the associated pastimes of separation, etc., which will take place on planet Earth. Impressions of which he will continue to reminisce in the spiritual world. For this purpose, Sri Krishna wants to experience all these pastimes firsthand. And we also wish to experience. Dear devotees, none of these pastimes will have any material misery in them. Even though they are going on in the material world, those who participate in it, those devotees who participate in them will not experience any material misery. They may seem to be sad, like when Krishna is captured by Kaliya. They all seem to be sad and fainting on the ground, but they are experiencing bhakti ras. They are not experiencing any material misery, dear devotees. So whenever Bhagavan comes to this material world, Yogamaya ensures that not a single scratch of material misery will fall upon any of his associates. Dhāmeśvara Mahaprabhu, a very simple question. Suppose you're working in a reputed organization and you travel with the boss of the organization somewhere. What will he ensure when you are traveling with him?
That I have the best experience.
Obviously. And when you are traveling with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of all the universes, the controller of Yogamaya, and he is appearing in the material world and you are assisting him in his pastimes, what will he ensure?
That you're free from all touch of samsara.
Wonderful. So when, even if, dear devotees, if we ever come to assist Sri Krishna in his direct Krishna Lila, we will never experience even a small trace of material misery. So Bhagwan was also eager and we are also eager, because when he will come, he will open the gate to his pastimes. And thus, after millions and millions of births, I will finally be able to get an access to his Lila. And thus, my gates of good fortune will open. And thus, he will live up to his name Hari, because Hari means Harati iti Hari. He who snatches away the material existence of the conditioned souls is known as Hari. How otherwise will he be known as Hari if he does not take birth in Mathura and expand his pastimes? Dear devotees, it's time to relish some of the pastimes when Sri Krishna appeared in Dwapar Yuga. We are back to planet Earth. It is Dwapar Yuga, the end of Dwapar Yuga. Devaki has lost 7 children and the 8th one is about to appear. Sri Shukadev Goswami says, Atha sarva gunopetah kalah paramashobhanah yaryevajana janmarksham shantarkshagrhatarakam. Thereafter, when Krishna was about to appear, Kalaha, the time factor, Paramashobhanah, became most auspicious, and endowed with all good qualities. Dhāmeśvara Mahaprabhu, why did Kala, time, become most auspicious?
In the service of the Lord.
Right? There has to be a deeper reason. Commentators relish the various angles. One of my favorite commentators on the 10th canto is Sri Hari Suri. He comments on this section and he writes, why won't the time become favorable? He has to become favorable. Yah sarvaika gunashritau nigadita kalu jananishtakrit sopi shrimadadhoksha jodayataya janyuttamah shobhana kim vacham sthiti sarga jrimbana guna krantasya dishtasya va Vadinam stitiritya bhutsphutamiha pragdishta sadvarnanat. Decorated Sanskrit poetry. He writes long phrases. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, Prabhu, Kal has to become favorable. Why? Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, Prabhu, what is the Sanskrit term for favorable?
Anukul.
Wonderful. Kal became Anukul. Why? Kal has to become Anukul. Yah sarvaika gunashrito nigatitah kalo jananishtakrit. There is Kal, time, but there is Mahakal. Do you know Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, Prabhu, who is Mahakal?
Shiva?
Yes. Mahakal. Bhagwan Shiva is Mahakal. He takes shelter of one mode of nature, ignorance, and he destroys everything. But Prabhu, even before Krishna had decided to appear, that Mahakal himself had become Anukul. What is the meaning of Anukul? The first meaning of Anukul is favorable, and the hidden meaning is Anu, standing near the cool, the shore of the ocean. Before Bhagwan appeared, who went to the shore of the ocean in order to pray for Bhagwan to appear? Brahma, along with Shiva, had gone. Mahakal himself had become Anukul much before Krishna decided to appear. So when Mahakal himself has become Anukul, why will this ordinary Kal not become Anukul or favorable just before Bhagwan's appearance? So therefore, seeing that Mahakal had become Anukul long time ago, Kal also, this ordinary Kal, who has three functions, creation, maintenance, and destruction, became Anukul before Sri Krishna's appearance. When Bhagwan appeared, all the entities in the material world felt immensely fortunate. Immensely fortunate. All of us who were waiting for so many lifetimes for Bhagwan to appear, we felt immensely fortunate. First was the earth. Srila Prabhupada says in the Krishna book, on the surface of the earth, in all towns and villages and pasturing grounds and within the minds of everyone, there were signs of good fortune. The entire earth became fortunate. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, Prabhu. Question arises, why? Please tell me, Prabhu.
He received the touch of Krishna's lotus feet.
Wonderful. That's a good reason. There is a deeper hidden reason. Would you like to know, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So our commentator sweetly reveals what is the reason for the earth's joy. Varnitvadyadupendra toru vihitan brahmarpanadramito yat sita patitopya bhunna cha sukham shvashrutvatastadrisham tad saubhagya sukham kiladya phalitam tad bhogatosmin bhaved अस्माद् वासक सज्ज के वसमभूत भूमिस्तरात्युज्ज्वला. Bhumi or earth actually is somebody's wife. Whose wife is Bhumi?
Vamana
No.
or Varaha.
Varaha. Wonderful. But Varaha simply lifted her up and kept her and disappeared. Arey, where are the pastimes of enjoyment between husband and wife? When husband and wife get married, they have amorous pastimes of love. But no pastimes took place. And then after Varahadev, which incarnation came, Prabhu? Please tell me.
Narasimha.
Okay. But Narsimhadev did not accept. And Vamanadev came. You know, Narsimha came and disappeared very quickly. Varnit Vadya Dupendra to. When Upendra came, Vamandev came. He also could not give me any enjoyment. Why? Varnitvad, he was brahmachari. So brahmacharis don't get married. Same condition with Narsimhadev. He also did not get married to me. Brahmarpanad Rama. So then he came as Parshuram. But when he came as Parshuram, he gifted me 21 times to the Brahmanas. He took over me not once, not twice, but 21 times. But after taking over me, he gifted me over to the Brahmanas. Yat Sita Paditopya Bhunna Cha Sukham. And when he came as Ram, even at that particular, in that incarnation, I could not have the happiness of having him as my husband. Why? Because he became the husband of my daughter Sita. Sita was the daughter of Mother Earth. So I became his mother-in-law. And even in that incarnation, I could not have the happiness of being his wife, of being enjoyed by him. But now, tat saubhagya sukham kiladya phalitam. But today, he has taken a form in which he will directly perform my bhoga. He will directly enjoy with me. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, what is the meaning of bhoga?
Food.
But bhoga also means,
Enjoyment.
yes. So in this incarnation, he will have my bhoga. He will enjoy with me and he will have my bhoga. He will directly consume me. Knowing this, that the personality who is about to enjoy bhoga with her is about to appear, even Mother Earth became fully joyous. This is Sri Hari Suri giving out some of his best realizations. Ascharya Ras, the mellow of wonder, is being experienced by those devotees who relish such verses. Prabhu, after that, the river started overflowing with joy. In the Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada says the rivers were flowing full of waters. We need to have a reason. Otherwise, we will not be able to justify why the rivers were overflowing. So, we'll see a reason for why the rivers were overflowing with water. Sri Hari Suri gives a wonderful reason. All these are Mathura pastime. Everything is happening in Mathura, dear devotees. All the living entities are feeling so happy within Sri Mathura. This verse is in a meter Svagdhara. Prakshiptanek bhubhrin nichaya parichalad-vyasta nirardhivardhau setudhyogena bhavyam janaka griha sukham yena dattam purana soyam bhuyo bhyapeta stadunupama sukham labhyamasmabhyamasmat bhuyo bhuyo bhyayatna ditinanusarita suprasannastadansan. The rivers were thinking, Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, what is the technical Sanskrit name for a river?
Sada, see? No, that's a lake.
Nadi.
Nadi.
Okay. Nadi is pulling masculine gender or striling, feminine gender.
Feminine.
Very good. Ladies take birth in a different family, and when they get married, they go to a different family. All right. So when Nadi took birth, where does Nadi or a river take birth?
The mountains.
Wonderful. So the mountains are the direct relatives of the Nadi. And finally, the Nadi grows up and goes and meets her husband. Her husband is called Samudra or Saritpati, the lord of all the rivers. So once she goes to her husband's place in the ocean, does she get to see her relatives, the mountains again, Prabhu?
No.
She misses them very much, Prabhu. Sri Hari Suri says, Prakshiptaneka bhubhrin nichaya parichalad vyasta nirharti bhartav. The rivers remembered in previous incarnation as Ram. He arranged many mountains to be thrown into the ocean. In this way, he made us experience the happiness of meeting our family members even in the homes of our husband, the ocean. Soyam bhuyo bhupetas. Now that same person is coming again. And we are hearing that he will again lift a mountain. So when the rivers heard that the same personality is coming again, all the rivers started overflowing with joy. This is the reason why the rivers were overflowing with joy. Not only that, Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada says in the Krishna book, the wind blew very pleasantly, carrying the aroma of different flowers and greatly pleasing the sense of touch. Prabhu, why did the wind blow so pleasing?
I don't know, Prabhuji.
Sri Hari Suri reveals a wonderful reason. This verse is in the meter Vasanta Tilakam, same meter as Brahma Samhita. Putrena praghanumatankritayasya bhuya shushrushayatra bhrishamasmi kritartha eva sakshat tathapyahamihapi samachareyam seva matah parichachar tatasatasaha. The wind god was thinking, my son has already rendered great service in the past. Who is the son of the wind god? He is Shri Hanuman. And by my son's service, I am fully fulfilled, completely fulfilled. Yet I feel some defect in my heart. I should also have rendered some service directly in the previous incarnation, which I could not do. But I am getting a chance again. Bhagwan is about to appear. And what can I do? I can either blow very fast or not blow at all. No, both of them will not work. I have to blow in a very mild, a pleasing manner, and carrying only the choicest aromas with me. This is the seva I could do. Tada sa Dāsa. At that time, he became Dāsa. He became a servant. And he served Bhagwan in this manner. Srila Prabhupada says, the Brahmanas had been very much distressed in mind, intelligence, and activities, but just on the point of Krishna's appearance, automatically their minds became full of joy because they could hear transcendental vibrations in the sky proclaiming the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the sadhus became happy. And what is the reason? Sri Hari Suri reveals the reason. Yad yad rupamaham dadhami bahudha tatvika jnanata Shrandanyeva bhavanti sadhu hridayanyevam vibhavyachyuta asmasvanyatame svavasamamale kritvaiva sampratyabhut vyakto savititani tatsukhavashan asan prasannani va. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, Krishna takes many forms. Yad yad rupam aham dadhami. Whatever form I take, Krishna is thinking. Bahudha tat tatvika ajnanatah. Is it easy to understand Shri Krishna within your mind, or is it difficult to understand, Prabhu? Please tell me.
It's difficult, Prabhuji.
Therefore, Shrantani eva bhavanti sadhu hridayani. The minds of the sadhus become extremely exhausted. They become, dejected because of so many difficulties in understanding Shri Krishna in Tattva. Vibhavya Achyuta. Bhagwan Shri Krishna knew this. Therefore, Krishna did one thing. Asma Svanyatame. He selected one sadhu. Amongst all the sadhus in the world, he selected one sadhu. And knowing that the sadhus have great difficulty in their minds understanding Shri Krishna, he selected one sadhu, Vasudev, and directly appeared in the mind of Shri Vasudev. And when Shri Krishna will directly appear in the mind of a sadhu, the sadhus will become happy. Yes, finally, at least one sadhu was directly able to perceive Shri Krishna within his mind. And seeing the happiness of that one sadhu, all the other sadhus became happy. Because now it will become easy for all of us to understand. Bhagwan will also appear within our minds, now that he has appeared within the mind of Shri Vasudev. In this way, all the residents of Mathura, everybody became extremely fortunate. And what was the reason? The one reason was that one event which can never take place in Vaikuntha or in Dwarka. And what is that? Janitaha, the birth of Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada expresses the fortune of the residents of Mathura. The fortunes of the Yadu dynasty and that of the inhabitants of the land of Mathura cannot be materially estimated. If simply by knowing the transcendental nature of the birth and activities of Lord one can get liberation easily, we can just imagine what is in store for those who actually enjoyed the company of the Lord in person, as family member or as a neighbor. Srila Prabhupada very correctly specifies that to even understand these pastimes is the open doorway to liberation. What to speak of living these pastimes? Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami prays in his Padyavali very earnestly. He compiles a prayer in the meter Totakam. Shravane Mathura, Nayane Mathura, Vadane Mathura, Hridaye Mathura, Purato Mathura, Parato Mathura, Madhura, Madhura, Mathura, Mathura. Shravane Mathura. May the sound of Mathura stay within my ears, because this is the sound of Sri Krishna's appearance. Nayane Mathura. May her sight stay within my eyes, because this is the sight of Sri Krishna's appearance. Vadane Mathura. May her glory stay within my mouth. Hridaye Madhura. Because may her memory stay in my heart. Purato Mathura. May Mathura be ahead of me. Parato Mathura. May Mathura be behind me. Madhura, Madhura, Mathura, Mathura. Sweet, sweet is Mathura, my Mathura. Actually, the traditional old name of Mathura is Madhura, Madhupuri. So it is actually Madhura. Therefore, Mathura, Madhura, Mathura, Mathura. She has sweetness as her name. May Mathura stay always within my heart. Dear devotees, thank you very much. Yadatra Skhalitam Kinchit Vidvam Saha Purayantu Tat. Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit Tad Guroreva Me Nahi. Yadatra Skhalitam Kinchit. Is there any mistakes that I made? Vidvam Saha, your learned devotees, Purayantu Tat. Please correct any mistakes. But Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit. If there's anything nice in the presentation, please remember Tad Guroreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas. I would especially like to remember my Diksha Guru here, Sri Srimad Radha Govinda Das Goswami Maharaj, who made it a point to stay in his life permanently in Sri Mathura Mandal, in Sri Vrindavan. So he has lived his life according to the instruction of residing always in Sri Vrindavan. So Tad Guru Reva, it belongs to him and to my Shiksha Gurus, to all of you, may nahi, it doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I feel like I'm sitting on the banks of an ocean of sweetness and just tasting the madhurima lahari, the waves of sweetness coming from your class, the glories of Sri Mathura Dham. It's made everything so clear and really painted a picture for us. We got a picture of Vaikuntha. Now we're getting some insights into the special sweetness of Mathura, where the human pastimes begin. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We're gonna go now for questions and answers.
Yeah, but you made the choice now of falling in love with an imperfect God. And choices have consequences, Prabhu. Choices have consequences. Right. So you'll have to bear all the consequences of making the voluntary choice of falling in love with an imperfect personality of Godhead. Okay, Prabhu. So
That's kind of ominous, Prabhu.
so let's begin. Please tell Prabhu what are the you wish to make some announcements before the Q&A about
Yeah, so we'll just request that you ask questions related to today's class. Don't focus on it or mention any particular person or institution. We want to speak in principle. And keep your questions short or wait for another turn so everyone gets a chance to speak.
Yeah.
Anything else, Prabhuji?
And if you have a question related to very specific reference, I was looking up Srila Rupa Goswami's comment, Sri Jiva Goswami's commentary to this point of this particular verse, which is not directly related to the talk. Then it is better to ask such queries in the group because it takes some time to look up references and to understand the question. Those sort of questions are better asked in the group. That's all.
Assuming it's related to our studies, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. So with that, we will begin with Tanvi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you so much. It was really a very relishing class. So I may have missed that point about that, but you said about Dwarka in Vaikuntha also. So I wanted just clarification on this, that what is the exact difference between the mood of Dwarka in Vaikuntha and the mood of Dwarka, like actual Dwarka look, and same of Saket look and Vaikuntha Ayodhya. So
No, the Dwarka which is there in the spiritual world is basically considered to be within the Vaikuntha Lokas only. I quoted Sri Sanatana Goswami where he says that within the Vaikuntha Lokas there is a special place named Ayodhya and Dwarka. So they are considered as part of the Vaikuntha Lokas, although they are very special because Naralila, humane pastimes of Bhagwan take place in these Vaikuntha Lokas. So they are distinguished from all the other Vaikuntha Lokas because humane pastimes take place here. And so in terms of rasa, they have superiority over all the other Vaikuntha Lokas. So that is what was specified. I hope that clarifies.
yes, so like my doubt was that Dwarka Lok and Vaikuntha Dwarka, they are different, right?
No, that is the same. What is known as Dwarka in the spiritual world, Sri Sanatana Goswami has called it Vaikuntha Dwarka. But when that same Dwarka appears here on earth, that is called Bhu Dwarka. So, but the same Dwarka is there in the spiritual world, it is called Vaikuntha Dwarka. That is what Sri Sanatana Goswami has used that term many number of times in his Brhad Bhagavatamrtam.
Okay, so this Dwarka is now taken in reference as Vaikuntha Janito, right?
Which Dwarka?
Like as in the shloka Vaikuntha Janito
So
this
that
Dwarka is taken into reference.
You can take both Dwarkas. In both Dwarkas, did Krishna take birth?
No.
No, but that's all. That answers your query.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay.
Next, we have Manjari Devi Dasi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for continuing this wonderful shower of nectar and all the research you put into it and your time. It's such a blessing. My question is about a specific verse, but I'm hoping that it's all right to ask here instead of in writing. We are talking about the hierarchy of holy places based on Śrī-Upadeśāmṛtam.
Right.
And recently I was just reading Lalita Madhava, and I found it very interesting. It just struck me. I'm more absorbed in the topic now with you. In the 9th act, verse 148, also lists, I think there are different numberings, but in my version, it's Act 9, verse 148, starting with Bhumo Bharatam Uttamam.
Right.
And the verse says that on this earth planet, the best place is Bharatavarsha. In Bharatavarsha, the best district is Mathurapuri. In Mathurapuri, the best place is Vrindavan forest. In Vrindavan forest, the blessed place is along the shore of the Yamuna. On the shore of the Yamuna, the best place is the arena of the Rasa dance.
Right.
So I was wondering why the same wonderful Srila Rupa Goswami says Radhakund in his Upadeshamritam, and here the shore of the Yamuna. If you have any comment on that.
Right. So Radha Upadeshamritam has been written with a viewpoint of the sadhakas, that what will benefit the sadhakas. Lalita Madhava and Vidagdha Madhava, we are basically dramas which are interactions between the direct associates of Sri Krishna. The benefit of those dramas for the sadhakas is the sadhakas will experience various bhakti rasas. But from the point of view of Raganuga Bhakti, because the 8th verse was about Raganuga Bhakti, from the point of view of Raganuga Bhakti, which place will benefit the sadhaka the most? Now this verse, which you have quoted, that Bhumau Bharatam Uttamam Madhupuri Tatrapi Tatrapyalam, that in on earth Bharat is the greatest and Mathura is the greatest in Bharat and Vrindavan is greatest and wonderful, and Yamuna is the topmost. Yamuna is the topmost from whose point of view? Because who is speaking to whom? This is the most important thing. And in this particular context, Navavrinda is speaking to Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani and Krishna are present there. And Navavrinda is speaking in this particular. Navavrinda is trying to evoke a particular emotion. Which emotion is she trying to evoke? She is trying to evoke that particular emotion of the pastime of Rasa Lila. And therefore, she composes a verse which is in accordance with that, which takes Sri Radha's mind to that particular place. Same if you see Sri Rupa Goswami, when he was trying to give consolation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he composes that verse. Priya soyam Krishna sahachari kurukshetra militas tathaham saradha. Then after the Rath Yatra, Rupa Goswami takes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly to Yamuna, Kalindi Puline. He doesn't take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Radhakund. The reason is, where will Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood be nourished the topmost? And here also the reason is, where will Srimati Radharani's immediate mood? What is the immediate need of the situation? That will be on the banks of Yamuna. That is, according to the need of the situation, the verses are rendering that particular service. So I hope that clarifies.
Wonderful, and thank you for the connection with the Lord Chaitanya reference. That didn't come to my mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Next we have Kamniya Krishna Prabhu.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad my obeisances to you, Dhāmeśvara Prabhu, and all the Vaishnavas. Prabhu, truly amazing. I'm sure that the way you explain, very complex topic, like when initially you started, like comparison of Vaikuntha and Mathura, I was like really surprised at how you are going to compare, but I'm sure you are one of the best permission teacher who makes so complex topic understand easily and make our learning part so peaceful, and I would say not comfortably, that we understand one topic one by one with the very good proven things. So with that, Prabhuji, you mentioned one of the thing that when associates appear along with Bhagwan, Maya Devi will make sure that no material miseries happen to the associates. Yoga Maya. So even though they themselves know that there is no miseries as such, so basically these are the two different bhavas, right? That knowing that I am eternally happy, and at the same time to showing that I am in the particular Leela, that I am distressed or something. And same way it goes with the Bhagwan also. For example, when Krishna was eating a dirt, and then he became he became angry. He was like kind of scared of Mother Yashoda. So how these two different vows of being fearful and being a Bhagwan coexist, and they relish the mood at that particular time? How it is possible?
So let me try to understand your query. Your query is, how do these feelings, which are apparently externally negative, fear, lamentation, crying,
They are contradictory.
yeah, how are they enjoyment? Is this the question?
Yeah, Prabhuji. So what I'm trying to say, see, Krishna knows that I am a supreme personality of God. But
Right.
at the same time, how can he feel that I'm scared of Mother Yashoda? How it is possible? And same way it goes with the associates. When they are eternal associates, right? So they know that they are like kind of eternally
Well,
happy.
sorry, Prabhuji. Did he understand your question or not? Is what he is asking, not for you to restate it.
Yeah.
Um,
He's trying to say the question that how does Krishna forget that he is the Supreme Lord, although he is the Supreme Lord in Sri Vrindavan? And how do the
yeah.
associates also, how do the
Correct,
associates also forget that they are associates? And so that is the question,
yeah,
right?
correct, yeah, Prabhuji.
See, one of the characteristics of Bhagwan is given in by our acharyas is that Bhagwan is the harmonizer of all opposites. Try to understand. Bhagwan is the harmonizer of all opposites. Bhagwan has opposing qualities within him, and those opposing qualities are harmonized. What does it mean? That Bhagwan is all pervasive and at the same time he is limited in size. I hope you're able to understand. Someone who is all pervasive, how can that person be how can that entity be limited in size? But Bhagwan is all pervasive and at the same time limited in size. Now, how does that happen? That is achintya for us. It is impossible for us to understand how the same entity can have opposing qualities and harmonize those opposing qualities. Sri Jiva Goswami gives a wonderful example to make us understand in the Bhagavad Sandarbha. Sri Jiva Goswami says, some Ayurvedic medicines cure kapha, but increase vata and pitta. Some Ayurvedic medicines cure vata, but increase kapha and pitta. Some Ayurvedic medicines cure pitta, but increase kapha and vata. But there are some medicines like Trikatu, which simultaneously cure these opposing doshas, kapha, vata and pitta. So if it is possible for Ayurvedic medicines in the material world to have opposing qualities harmonized within them, it is definitely possible for Sri Krishna to have opposite qualities harmonized within him. These are some of the examples which our acharyas have given to help us understand. Krishna has opposing qualities. So Krishna is omniscient yet ignorant. Let's put it that way. Krishna is omniscient yet he has his childlike ignorance within him. Krishna is the speaker of the truth, Satya Narayana, yet he lies from time to time. How are opposing qualities present within him? He is the harmonizer of all opposites. That is the answer to your query. This is one of his qualities.
So, Prabhuji, in that case, they can relish the mood?
Yes, they can relish the mood. In the Brhad Bhagavatamrtam, Sri Sanatana Goswami reveals that in the spiritual world, this will come up in the future talks maybe. The pastimes are such, Yogamaya makes the associates of Sri Krishna forget some things from time to time in order to make those same things appear fresh. I hope you are able to understand. This will be revealed in Brihad Bhagavatamrtam. Acha, that was understandable. Then one step ahead he goes and says, the prema is such, even Krishna forgets from time to time and starts experiencing the same freshness in the pastimes. In order to experience newness or freshness within the pastimes, you have to have forgetfulness. That forgetfulness is ensured by Yogamaya. Brihad Bhagavatamrtam is our literature where we go to understand the spiritual world. That is the only literature where the Siddhantas related to the spiritual world are described in great detail. From Brihad Bhagavatamrtam came Laghu Bhagavatamrtam, and Laghu Bhagavatamrtam is the source for many of the Siddhantas given in the 6 Sandarbhas of Sri Jiva Goswami. Originally, it all begins in Brihad Bhagavatamrtam. Right?
Thank you so much.
Although you have not asked this question, but an extension of your question is that how can misery be joyous in the spiritual world? This is another query which naturally arises. That Krishna was crying in Dwarka. Kamaniya Krishna Prabhu is crying happiness or suffering?
Suffering in material world.
Obviously. So Krishna is suffering in Dwarka? Or so it appears. Sri Sanatana Goswami gives a wonderful example. Although externally it appears as suffering, but it is actually the highest joy. The people will say, I don't believe you. Sanatana Goswami says, I'll make you believe. Here an example. He says, take your hand and put it in fire. What will happen, Kamani Krishna Prabhu?
It will burn and it will give me the trouble.
Yeah. It will leave those dark marks on your hand. It will burn. It will give a lot of pain. Put the same hand in freezing ice. And it will also make your hand dark. And it will also make your hand burn. It is called a frost burn or a frostbite. It will give you the same sensation of burning. But these two are completely opposite. Fire and ice are completely opposite. Although the external effect that they give is exactly the same. Similarly, there is big difference between the suffering experienced by Krishna and the Vrajvasis and the suffering that the people in the material world experience. Although externally, the effects appear to be the same. Right? So that is how it should get. Thank you.
Next we have Parama Karuna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam Prabhuji. I really liked or something sort of not clicked, but I've been sort of reading or hearing a little bit more on this topic of rasas that you said. When you said today that the human pastimes or the Nar Leelas are more rasika, or the Lord has to come to to the gates of human world. I in this context, just bear with me, I'll just explain what's going on in my mind. I was recently hearing from somewhere, I can't remember, this sort of an explanation of Sakhya Rasa, where somebody was making, I don't know whether this pastime is true or not, but that's besides the point completely, that when one time Lord Rama there was a race between Lord Ram and his brothers, and nobody wanted to run because they wanted the other to win. Whereas between Krishna and the Gopas, there was a race and each one was preventing other from starting to run. They were pulling each other's leg. So that, because they themselves, Krishna wanted to win and the Gopas wanted to win, so they weren't letting each other to even start.
Right.
I can clearly see that that's more sweeter.
Wonderful.
And that's closer to what I would do if I was a child and trying to win a race or whatever. At the same time, at least when I'm grown up, I find sweetness in the other aspect as well. And of course, one can say that Sakhya is more predominant in this Lord Krishna's situation, there is probably a sense of Aishwarya or Dasya.
Right. So
I'm trying to unpack in my mind the sweetness that comes with things that are more human, but at the same time, I'm not able to completely come to terms with that. Yeah, how is it more like us is more sweeter and the other one's not? And yeah, that's what I'm trying to unpack somewhere.
See, there are terms for Sakya. There are two types of Sakya. Have you heard of the two types of Sakya?
I don't know. I can't recall right now. I might have,
Right.
I might.
Okay. So it's a very nice, kindly read, Prabhuji.
Lord,
Sorry. Yeah, this paragraph, Lord Ram.
Lord Ram also developed greed. Vibhishan and Sugriv are Lord Ram's friends. This means there is Sakhya Ras, friendly affection, in the pastimes of Lord Ram. But these are two types of Sakhya Rasa. Sambhrama, friendship with awe and reverence, and Vishrambha, friendship as equals without awe and reverence. In the pastimes of Lord Ram, there is no question of equality. His friends Sugriv and Vibhishan cannot climb onto his shoulders or snatch food from his mouth. They are even afraid their leg may touch Lord Ram's body because they think that this would be offensive. Their friendship is Sambhrama Sakhya, friendship with awe and reverence.
Wonderful. So, please read till this point.
But Vishrambha Sakhya is different. In Vishrambha Sakhya, there is such love and affection that the friends think themselves equal with the Lord. There is no question of awe and reverence. In the pastimes of Krishna, you will find this Vishrambha Sakhya. The cowherd boys climb onto Krishna's shoulders and snatch the food from his mouth, and Krishna snatches the food from their mouths. The legs of the cowherd boys touch Krishna's body, and Krishna is not disturbed because it is as if those were his own legs.
This is Sambhrama and Vishrambha Sakhya. There is a distinction between Sambhrama and Vishrambha, depending upon the nature of the devotee. Some devotees will find Sambhrama Sakhya more appealing. Some devotees will find Vishrambha Sakhya more appealing.
Yes, Prabhuji, can I?
But, yeah, sure.
It seems that Vishrambha is sweeter than Sambhrama.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to sort of just, if you could elaborate on that. Yes, I get the difference and the pastime that I sort of seem to have heard, and these ones are similar. But the sweetness aspect is what I was trying to somehow relish. I mean, I seem to relish both quite a bit.
Right. See, in which variation of Sakhya does the Jiva have more openness and more honesty?
The latter.
In which, in the Vishrambha variation, in which variation of Sakhya does the Jiva openly express the feelings of its heart?
Yeah, Prabhuji, it seems like the answer would be Vishrambha, but for somebody, the openness of heart may be just due to the submission or...
No, they voluntarily, close their heart to, going against Bhagwan Ram because Sambhrama.
Maybe that's their natural bhava.
Wonderful.
I'm trying to see that how is it that they are putting an artificial covering or suppressing their bhava that may not be there. I don't know.
Yeah. You're speaking to a Gaudiya Vaishnava. Therefore, I'm speaking from my bias. You to understand? I'm speaking from my bias.
Right.
Therefore, if you ask me, Vishramba is sweeter because Krishna loves association where he can go and go to the side of a hill and speak some abusive words in the hill, and the words bounce back into his ears. That is not possible in Sambram Sakhya. That's only possible in Vishramba Sakhya. Krishna loves because that entire incarnation, or not in the entire form of Sri Krishna, is for such pastimes, is meant for such pastimes basically. Now other incarnations are there which are meant specifically for other type of pastimes, but Sri Krishna, he is meant for these open-hearted displays of love, and open-hearted in all possible ways. He'll go with his friends on the edge of a cliff and then shout out some, expletives, and then they'll come back. And this is what you do with friends. What do you do with friends? What do you do with friends? How do you enjoy with friends? That is the crux of the.
I can completely resonate with the college friends.
Yes.
They are right now some very big people in their careers, but if you see our WhatsApp group of college friends, it's all kinds of things.
Wonderful. We all have such friends. So, those sort of friends are the friends with whom we are truly ourselves. But you can say, well, the Sambram Sakhya are also being truly themselves when they are with Lord Ram. Agreed. But from a Gaudiya Vaishnava point of view, Vishramba is where the maximum experience of closeness occurs. The maximum experience of equality occurs in Vishramba. Therefore, Vishramba has its distinct sweetness, because the maximum degree of equality is there only in Vishramba, not in Sambrama.
All right, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Dipayan Mukherjee Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for a very sweet discussion, class, question, answers, everything. I wanted to ask, at the beginning of the talk, you were mentioning how Sri Rupa Goswami he has given us the explanation of Bhakti Rasa and Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So I was just curious that before Rupa Goswami, how did people study about Rasa? Because in Bhagavatam also, in that third shloka of the first chapter, it's told, drink, oh Rasika devotees, drink the Bhagavatam. So I was just curious if you could say something.
The third verse of the Bhagavatam says, Pibata Bhagavatam Rasam. There the term Rasa is directly, it means a juice. Because Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam, it has come out from that ripened fruit of the Vedic tree. So directly it means juice. But Rasa means juice, but Rasa also means that feeling of overwhelming joy which takes over your heart when you are experiencing the nourishment of a sthai bhav. I'm talking in technical terms here. So when that nourishment of sthai bhav, and the categorization of those sthai bhavs, and what are the various nourishing factors, what are the types of rasas, and all of this in a systematic study was compiled by Srila Rupa Goswami. Previous to Sri Rupa Goswami, there were two camps. One camp thinks bhakti is not a rasa, bhakti is only a bhav. So it arises in the heart and it is a sanchari bhav. It arises in the heart and it goes down in the heart. It arises in the heart, it goes down in the heart. That's what many people before Rupa Goswami were thinking. I'll give the names of some traditional acharyas who think like that. Acharya Vaman, who's an acharya of kavya, poetry. He thinks bhakti is not a ras, bhakti is a bhav. And there are some acharyas who think bhakti is a ras. Madhusudan Saraswati, they think bhakti is a ras. Who will solve all these contradictions? But Rupa Goswami very clearly specified what that bhakti is a ras And what are the types of bhakti rasas? What are the main bhakti rasas? What are the secondary bhakti rasas? All of them in great detail in a single manual, one-stop solution to all the bhakti rasas. That is what it is.
Just one small, this muhu aho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. So that rasika, they did not have all this knowledge of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
See, Prabhuji, what to speak of all the knowledge? Even the detailed nourishment of all the rasas was not given previously. You might have heard the verse Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunaya Avatirnaha Kalau. Have you heard that verse?
Yes. Yes.
What is the meaning of that verse?
But was not given for a very long time.
Yes.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave that.
Gave that. But was not given for a very long time. Because if you, let's say, you remove all the teachings of Sri Rupa Goswami, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and you go to the Bhagavatam. Directly you approach the Bhagavatam. Now, Prabhu, how much of a Rasika, can you be independent of the teachings of Sri Rupa Goswami? Please tell me.
No.
What stage can you come? Bhav, Prema, Sneha, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag. These terms, who has explained?
Or Gaudiya Sampradaya only has explained.
Wonderful. So, the sweetness of Sri Rupa Goswami is this, that he was personally blessed by Bhagavan to give this particular knowledge to the entire world. Forget about that, even the definition of bhakti. Prabhu, how is bhakti defined? Give your definition of bhakti independent of Rupa Goswami.
I don't have. I heard your other class, so you had quoted many.
So you already have the answer. You can't even have a foolproof definition of bhakti unless you approach Sri Rupa Goswami. He's the first one to define bhakti in that manner. So that's a very unique contribution. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Yes.
It's Veda for us. It's our Veda. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is our Veda. Right? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Next we have Samarpana Gopa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hari Pārṣada, thank you for doing the sweetness, humanness, and the interactions of, very clearly explaining how Mathura is greater. Thank you very much. My question is that when the contradictions are being discussed, so the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam where Uddhava was also actually astonished in 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, 16th verse, where he says that Mam khedayati ajasya janma, etc. And later on he says Karmani nihasya bhavo bhavasyate. So when I studied the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, translation, so there also Srila Vishwanath says that even Uddhava was confused actually till the time he kind of met Krishna in Prabhash. So there he was revealed the Param Sthiti. So my question is this, Prabhu, that is it what we discussed today is the Pasthiti of the Supreme Lord, the truth of the pastimes of Vrindavan, Mathura and Dwarka? Is it that what was revealed to Uddhava by Lord Krishna in
so let me try to understand this thing. That we are saying that when Uddhav in 3.2.16 of Srimad Bhagavatam, he expresses, he says that I am bewildered basically. Mam khedeti etajasya janma vidambanam yad vasudeva gehe vraje cha vasuri bhayadivas svayam purad vyavadsit yadananta viryah. And he says, it is all bewildering to me, and how all these pastimes took place. So this was revealed. Basically, we are saying that Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that all this was revealed to them in Prabhas. So what is the exact question here too.
Question is this, that when he says Param Sthiti was revealed to, right, Vishwanath says that Param Sthiti was revealed to him in Prabhas. So that Param Sthiti is what we are talking, the glory of Vrindavan, human pastimes in Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka. Actually, that's what was revealed to him there. So is it the same thing which Rupa Goswami is glorifying here?
No,
The Param.
no. See what Sri Uddhava was, in the third canto, what Sri Uddhava says basically. He says that about his statement is specifically in relation to the pastimes of Mathura. You took birth, you ran away from Kalyavan, and what Bhishma said about you. All this I have heard, and my mind is bewildered. But here he is not mentioning, because at least from what I can see the commentary, he is not mentioning anything about Shri Vrindavan. But what Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami are about to reveal, that is much, much more than what Uddhava got in his revelation. So that particular thing is, what Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, etc. are going to reveal is much more than simply revelations of Mathura and revelations of Dwarka. It is going to be revelations within the depths of Shri Vrindavan. That is the answer to your question.
Next we have Omkar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I had a question about the age of Lord Sri Krishna in the spiritual world. Like we have heard many of our acharyas explain that the Lord in spiritual world is like, like a 14 to 16 years kind of young person. So I had this doubt that I'd heard some explanation that other forms of Lord, like Balya Leela or Pauganda Leela, are also present in other spheres of spiritual world. Because the problem will be like if we say that the form of a Balakrishna is not present in the spiritual world and it is manifested in the material world, then in a way it will it will be necessary for the material world to exist so that such kind of pastimes go on, which is contrary to our saying that Lord Sri Krishna, he is enjoying in his own Swarup Shakti, and he does not need the material energy for his pastimes, although it is just there as it is.
Whosoever has asked this question does not understand that whenever Bhagwan Sri Krishna, even if he comes to the material world, he comes with his Swarup Shakti only. Here also Krishna is enjoying with his Swarup Shakti. He doesn't enjoy with Maya Shakti. So I don't know who has raised this doubt that the spiritual world is incomplete if Krishna does not have his Bal Leela there. When Krishna comes to the material world, does he create a separate thing in the material world, or does he bring the spiritual world to the material world?
Spiritual world to the material world.
Wonderful. So the Bal Leela, etc., that take place here, are they taking place within the material world or within the spiritually created compartment?
Within a spiritually created compartment.
So obviously those pastimes have nothing to do with the material energy.
So couldn't we say that there is also a chance that in spiritual world there will be a compartment for such pastimes?
So Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas are very clear. Hadn't I showed in Anand Vrindavan Champu? Did you see that I had quoted Anand Vrindavan Champu that two pastimes do not take place in the material world?
Yes. In the spiritual world about.
Yeah, the two pastimes don't take place in the spiritual world. What are the two pastimes that don't take place in the spiritual world? First is Janma Leela with the childhood pastimes, and you see here Balya Leela, Suranashi Leela. It is very clearly it is said in Anand Vrindavan Champu.
Yes. So would it not create at least a need that Lord has to manifest in the material world, although he is enjoying with his own spiritual potency?
Of course, the material world is eternal. It just appears and disappears. Lord's avatars are eternally occurring. There is no, what is the harm in Bhagavan appearing constantly in the material world?
Yes. So there's a role of material world also to play in the pastimes indirectly.
Material world is just a material world. The pastimes take place here and Krishna enjoys here. Material world receives the benefit of it. That's what it is.
Okay, sir. Thank you for that understanding.
And we have another question from Samarpana Gopa Prabhu.
Right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for telling that even our acharyas are taking us more deeper and deeper actually into Vrindavan than what Uddhava is going actually, who was also revealed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
My question is about this Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka.
Right.
So actually,
Unfortunately, your line's breaking up, Prabhuji. We're unable to understand. Is your internet connection strong?
Sorry.
Oh, it's better now. Try again.
What?
I'm sorry, Prabhuji. We're unable to get a clear
Yeah,
connection.
yeah, you're breaking up, Prabhuji, frequently. If it is, if you are in the group, please type out the query in the group, Prabhu, because your voice is breaking up.
I have a question, Hari Parsha Prabhu.
Yeah.
When the Vedas mention rasa vai saha, and they use that word rasa, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we understand it in a particular way according to teachings of Rupa Goswami, but obviously the Vedas weren't referencing Rupa Goswami. So in what sense is the word used there?
The thing is, the term rasa existed much before Sri Rupa Goswami. The term rasa in Kali Yuga, the first reference to the term rasa comes from Bharat Muni. That is in Kali Yuga. But where did Bharat Muni get the term rasa from? That is a question. Bharat Muni also got the term rasa from the Upanishads. What does Upanishads say? Raso vaisaha rasam hi eva labdva anandi bhavati. What is the meaning of rasa? Basic meaning of, we don't take the technical meanings. Rasyate asvadyate iti rasa. That which is experienced or that which is experienced as delight is known as rasa. That is the basic grammatical meaning of rasa. Now that can be a juice, that can be an emotion, it can be, anything. The later Bharat Muni and he gave out the finer meanings of rasa in his Natya Shastra in Kali Yuga. Previous to Kali Yuga and Dwapar Yuga, there might have been other acharyas, but in Kali Yuga we have Bharat Muni. Rupa Goswami's ideal personality for understanding rasa was Bharat Muni. Rupa Goswami never wanted to deviate even a tiny millimeter from Bharat Muni. So Bharat Muni is the standard acharya of rasa. Bharat Muni's understanding of rasa has come from Upanishads and the Vedas. In the Upanishads and Vedas, the meaning of rasa, rasyate iti, rasyate asvadyate iti rasaha. That it is experienced in a joyous liquefied form. Therefore, it is known as rasa. That is what it is. So if you see the verbal root itself is there for it, and the verbal root, I'll try to find the verbal root for it, and the verbal root is rasa aswadana snehanayoha. I will, sorry, it is in Devanagari. I do not have this is the verbal root rasa. So you can see rasa aswadana snehanayoha. So rasa is mainly in aswadana, in context of relishing something. That is the verbal root. And from that verbal root, you have verbal forms rasayati, rasayataha, rasayanti. So he relishes, causes relish. Two people cause relish, many people cause relish. So these are the verbal forms created out of the verbal root rasa. The verbal root itself has the sense of relishing. And from verbal roots, you can form the term. Sarvam dhatumayam jagat. All the terms are formed using verbal roots. Verbal root is the atomic level of understanding of a term. That is what it is. All right.
Thank you for clarifying, Prabhu. So it's a similar meaning, and we can take Rupa Goswami's theology and really base that very securely in the Upanishads and the Shruti Shastras.
Yes. If it would not be so, it would not have survived the test of time. It has survived the test of time, and because it is firmly rooted in the Upanishadic understandings, and all the other sampradayas accept basically, raso vai saha, rasam hi eva labdva anandi bhavati. The meaning of rasa here is the experience of condensed joy that happens as a result of nourishment of sthai bhav within the heart.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That really helps a lot. We have another question from Dipayan, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I wanted to ask, just before the question answers began, you were talking with Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, Prabhuji, and you said that one line that we have to deal with the consequences of falling in love with Krishna. So what did you mean by that?
Consequences will be revealed in subsequent talks, because we will see Bhagwan lying and Bhagwan, does Bhagwan speak lies?
Yes.
Yes. How can he be Bhagwan? Satya Narayan, Narayan speaks mithya. Satya Narayan speaks mithya, Prabhu. Is that possible? There is a verse in the
Not with
Bhagavatam,
Narayan.
Satyasya Satyam. There is a verse in the 10th
Yes.
canto. So much
Yes.
Satya is there in one verse. I will show you that verse.
Demigod spirit.
So Satya Vratam, Satya Param, Tri Satyam, this is 10 to 26. Satya Vratam, Satya Param, Tri Satyam, Satyasya Yonim, Nihitam Cha Satye, Satyasya Satyam, Vrita Satya Netram, Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapanna. So kindly read the translation of this particular, this is a big translation, but I'll highlight the, you are the supreme truth. Unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor. And so this is, you are the beginning of all truth. Wow, my goodness. This Bhagwan, does he speak truth all the time?
No.
So why were the Devatas glorifying him?
So this is in his pastimes, or
in Naralila, there will be falsity spoken. In Naralila,
in his pastimes.
Yeah, in his pastimes as a human. And in his pastimes as a human, as specifically as Krishna, he will speak lies, because Bhagwan Ram doesn't speak lies, although he's a human. In his specific pastimes of human being as Sri Krishna, he will lie. He will fail miserably in his love life. And when that happens, all the devotees will relish, and he will relish too. Do you know Bhagwan Sri Krishna failed miserably in his attempts at love? And all of that has been documented with great detail by the previous acharyas.
Great. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to the katha.
Chalo, we'll have something in the future. Thanks.
Yes, and just one small thing. So this is with respect to his pastimes, but with respect to sadhakas, is there any?
I don't understand. What with respect to sadhakas? What?
Some promises to the sadhakas, like for protection or all that, like rakshishyatiti vishvaso goptritve varanam tatha. So in that also, is there some some pastime or?
Does Bhagwan lie after promising a sadhaka? Well, you're dealing with Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna, he has a nature of being Bhakta Vatsal. In general, he is very, very dear to his devotees and very, very affectionate to his devotees. All the trickery, etc., is for the purpose of nourishment of rasa. His trickery is never for the purpose of putting a devotee into suffering. And if he puts a devotee into some suffering, it has some very important purpose behind it. The purpose is never to have fun at the expense of the devotee's suffering. So there's some very deep reason if at all he puts some devotee, some sadhaka into some suffering. But it's never just for the sake of seeing the sadhaka suffer and enjoy at the expense of the suffering of the sadhaka. Krishna does not have, what is it called, vicarious. Krishna does not enjoy vicarious pleasure at the expense of the sadhaka's suffering. That is what the term is. Right? But
yes,
if the sadhaka is playing tricks on Bhagwan, then nothing can be guaranteed. Right? Chalo.
Yes.
Let's.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I have another question, Prabhuji.
Sure, Prabhu.
And it's about understanding when it mentions these different dhammas, which ones referred to in the spiritual world versus the material world. I went to Radhakund for the first time a couple years ago, and afterwards I was remembering the last line of Upadeshamritam, you bathe once and you get prema, and I thought, I don't have Krishna prema, so what is the meaning here? At the time I thought, oh, well, that's because I'm not following Vacha Vegam, Manasakrota Vegam, so I need to start at the beginning and then I'll get all those things at the end. But later, thinking about it, I thought, this isn't talking about the Radhakunda of this world. It's talking about bathing your Siddha Deha in the service of Srimati Radharani.
Wonderful.
And
yes.
That helped me understand it. So now for today's verse, first we have Vaikuntha. Now you've also specified how that includes Dwarka and Mathura. Dwarka and Ayodhya.
Right.
And then above that we have Mathura, and then Govardhan, and then Vrindavan, Govardhan, and Radhakund. Now, which of these is in the material world versus the spiritual world? It's not really specified by our acharyas so clearly. Like if I read Prabhupada's purport to the last verses, it seems like he's talking about both interchangeably.
Yeah, but
so are we talking Vaikuntha of the spiritual world, and then Mathura of the material world, and then Radhakund of the spiritual world? Is it like going back and forth? Is it both? Like what's going on here?
No. So in Srila Prabhupada's translation itself, he is very clear. Prabhuji, kindly read this particular sentence.
Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her Kunda, lake, is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at Radhakund and in a spiritual body surcharged? This is the important part that Prabhupada added.
Yeah, wonderful. And in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, aprakrita bhav. Prakrita means material. What is the meaning of aprakrita?
Non-material.
Okay. And aprakrita bhav, non-material devotional moods, which means in bhakti ras, render service to couple Shri Radha Govinda who perform their Ashtakalya Lila. Now, you cannot render service to Shri Radha Govinda unless you are situated in that specific type of body. In a masculine body, this service is not possible. And therefore, we say, Seva adhikare diye karo nija.
Dasi.
Your das. Why do you pray every morning, Dasi?
Our aspiration is within our hearts to become a Dasi.
Wonderful. So all of this is in relationship with the final attainment that you will have.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And so in this verse, Vaikuntha Janito Vara, which one of these is referred to as, which one of these is in the spiritual world and which one's in the material world? Is it the Vaikuntha of the spiritual world compared to Mathura of the material world?
Yeah. In the Vaikuntha of the spiritual world, actually, Rupa Goswami's intention is to say Dwarka. Dwarka in the spiritual world.
In the spiritual world.
Yeah. Or you can also take Dwarka in the material world. Any one of them you can take, both of them. But Mathura in the material world is greater than both of them.
And there's only a Mathura in the material world?
There's also a Mathura in the spiritual world.
But there's no Janita there.
No.
So it must be Mathura of the material world.
Right.
But then by the time we get to Radhakunda, it's not talking about the Radhakunda of the material world.
No. Because Rasotsavat, immediately after Mathura, you go to Rasotsava, the Rasa festival. And Rasa festival took place in Vrindavan. But is it exclusive only to this Vrindavan, or is it common between this Vrindavan and that Vrindavan?
Both.
Both. So from there onwards, both. Govardhan, both. Radhakund, both. But Mathura has the exclusivity of having Janma Lila only in Bhauma pastimes on earth. That is it.
Okay. So it can refer to both in the spiritual world and the material world, but it's specifically talking about these holy places while the Lord's pastimes are happening actively.
Even if they're always happening actively, as I specified that there are three prakashas. Aprakat prakash is also there. Aprakat prakash means the Lord's pastimes are happening, but you cannot see them in this particular time and day. But you can see them if you are situated in your Siddha Deha. And in your Siddha Deha, you can still perceive those pastimes as they are going on today. But everything, all of this is through Aprakrita Deha, through your Siddha Deha. None of this is to be done through your Sadhaka Deha. In your Sadhaka Deha, you perform your activities of Shravan, Kirtan, etc. You perform your Raganuga Bhakti. Externally, you take bath in Radhakund. But finally, the bath in Radhakund that is being specified in Upadeshamritam is the bathing through the Siddha Deha. Because what does bathing in Radhakund mean? I don't want to reveal the secret immediately today in the Q&A. What is the meaning of bathing in Radhakund? That it's not simply a physical act of, putting your body through the waters of Radhakund. Because those waters keep changing every rainy season. So that what you see externally, those waters keep changing every rainy season. So what is the meaning of taking a bath in Radhakund? So that will be revealed gradually as the verses progress. Although
I think I understand
that those waters are sacred to us and there's not realization that I should be doing, but the intended meaning of the Acharya has been revealed by Srila Prabhupada in his translation. And Prabhupada fluffed out the translation and said Aprakrita Bhav. That's when he gave the intended meaning of Srila Rupa Goswami.
Yeah. So I think I understand now. When this comparison is done between the different dhammas, there's really no difference whether it's in the material world or the spiritual world, because either way, when the Lord is present there, you could say physically, in his Prakrita Lila, then it's the same either way.
Right.
Now, after the Lord leaves, he ends his Prakrita Lila, and only the Aprakrita Lila, or the unmanifest pastimes of the Lord, are happening in Vrindavan even today.
Wonderful.
Those are pastimes which we access not through our physical body, although we go there and we offer our dandavats to the sand of Sri Vrindavan Dham. But those are pastimes which we access in our minds and our hearts through the practice of Raganuga Bhakti, and that's what it means to bathe in Radhakund. Ultimately.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. So, Rupa Goswami specified in Laghu Bhagavatamrtam that some devotees who are overtaken by prema, they are able to see Krishna even today. So he says, Kairapi prema vaivashya bhagbir bhagavatottamaihi adyapi drishyate Krishna kridan vrindavanantare. In Laghu Bhagavatamritam he says, Kairapi, through some individuals, some fortunate individuals, prema vaivashya bhagvir, who are overtaken by prema, bhagavatottamai, by the uttama bhagavatas, adhyapi drishyate, even today, adhyapi, even today, is seen. Who is seen? Krishna is seen. Where is he seen? Kridan, as he is playing Vrindavan Antare, within the groves of Shri Vrindavan. Adhyapi, even today they see, So, therefore, Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan also says, Avirbhavya Leelaya Nityata. There's eternality of his pastimes. And those who are premis, they can see that even today. Right.
Amazing, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It looks like we're out of questions.
Right. Do we have that we were losing out his connection?
We can give another shot for Samarpana Gopa Prabhu.
Yeah. Samarpana Gopa Prabhu, is your connection better?
Sorry, Prabhu. Is it better now? Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. So, thank you. What I was wanting to ask is that about that Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. So, Bhagavatam and Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. South Indian acharyas, they write a lot of pastimes. So what they are relishing actually, because they seem to relish. So as I heard some part of answer, rasa has different depths of meaning. So if you want to add something more.
By any chance, are you in a train, Prabhu? Yeah. Haribol?
Yes, Prabhuji. I am in train only, Prabhu. I am sorry. I am traveling to Pune.
Now I understood. What
I wanted to say.
All right. Okay. So, okay.
But it's all nectar to hear.
Wonderful. Okay, Prabhu. So, there are many acharyas from other sampradayas. From what I could hear, many acharyas from other sampradayas who are also writing some pastimes of Shri Krishna. What are they relishing? Obviously, they are also relishing a specific type of rasa. If they have attained perfection in their relationship with Krishna, they are relishing a specific type of rasa. But if their rasa is having feelings of Aishwarya mixed in it, then Krishna will reciprocate accordingly. But Sri Rupa Goswami's intention is, Aishwarya should not be there. Madhurya should dominate Aishwarya at all points of time. That is the mood of Sri Rupa Goswami. Finally, you have to settle down with one mood. Now you have to, when you follow Sri Rupa Goswami, his recommendation is Madhurya should dominate Aishwarya. Some other acharyas, Aishwarya may dominate Madhurya. It depends on which acharya we decide to follow. That is the answer to the query. All right. I hope you get to hear it in a train, but in case not, you can always hear the recording.
All right. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for another enlightening, beautiful class. I just love these Upadeshamritam classes, and I'm already in pain and lamenting that these are going to end so soon. I don't know how I'm going to spend my Saturday mornings, Prabhuji.
No problem. To end on a good note is very nice, because good things should come to an end, because when they leave you with a feeling of, oh, I should have gotten more of it, that feeling is very nice. So we should end on a good note.
That's how we're ending, Prabhuji, and I think I'm just going to grab onto your feet and have you drag me along as I beg for more classes after we finish Upadeshamritam.
Yeah, let's see, Prabhu.
Please drag me along, Prabhuji. All right. So with that, I'll invite all the devotees to unmute and give a big thank you to Hari Pārṣada Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Hare
much
Krishna,
for
Prabhuji.
the
Dandavat
class.
pranams. We love you. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
His
Hare
grace,
Krishna.
Hari
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jai.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Dandavat pranam Prabhuji. Grace Hari Pārṣada Prabhu ki jai.
Ji, Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right, if there's nothing else from Parama Karuna Prabhu, then we're going to end here. All right. See you all soon. Take care. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.